If you care about freedom of speech, this video will make you mad. I'm going to show you new evidence that YouTube is shadow banning my videos and potentially other creators as well. I'm going to be pretty harsh on YouTube in this video about shadow banning, but I want to put this in context. I love YouTube. I've been uploading a video on this channel every week for 7 years. That's a long time. I obviously like YouTube, and I like doing this. I also think that YouTube does a pretty good job, and much better than some of the other companies in the space out there, like Twitch, for instance. So in this video, I want to give YouTube the benefit of the doubt. It is possible that this is all just a big misunderstanding and my channel has been overlooked somehow. I realize I'm a small channel, and in the grand scheme of YouTube, I'm not all that important. All I can do is explain the really troubling things that I've been experiencing, and I hope that YouTube will address these concerns. Over the last 2 months, my channel has been doing very well, but at the same time, I've noticed that a number of my videos appear to be shadow banned. They're being suppressed in a manner that I've never heard anyone talk about before. It appears like YouTube is stopping my videos from going viral. For the sake of clarity, YouTube has always maintained that they do not shadow ban channels. Here's a tweet from 2020 where they state this policy: YouTube does not shadow ban channels. Here's the problem. There's no agreed upon definition of what shadow ban means. So what YouTube does is they narrowly define shadow banning as blocking someone's channel without telling them. Meanwhile, everyone else's definition of shadow banning is suppressing people's videos without telling them. So YouTube can say, we're using our definition of shadow banning, and therefore we are not doing it. While it is generally understood that if YouTube finds that your video is shady, unmonetizable, or against its political opinions, it will suppress your video in the algorithm so that fewer people would see it. I would argue that YouTube is shadow banning based on everyone else's definition, and this is a way for YouTube to control speech. Now, we have no way of knowing for sure what YouTube does because it is all behind closed doors. But we got a glimpse into how Twitter shadow banned people with the release of the Twitter files. As a quick recap, when the Twitter files came out, they showed that Twitter used a back-end program. Each user account had a profile, and it looked like this. This is the profile for Charlie Kirk, who is a conservative commentator. You can see that Twitter could add different types of shadow bans to his account that would suppress the reach of his tweets. You can see there is a recent abuse strike and a do not amplify label. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk had no idea that his tweets were being suppressed. It is unclear what he did, if anything, to deserve this treatment. This is evidence that Twitter was shadow banning people, even though the CEO went in front of Congress and committed perjury by saying they did not shadow ban. So the question is whether YouTube uses a similar system. Can they put different types of shadow bans on videos to suppress their reach? Can they suppress certain topics using the algorithm? I would guess that they do. Most people would call that shadow banning, although YouTube does not. Now again, we don't know for sure what they do, But we do know from the Twitter files that YouTube did participate with Twitter in something called the Virality Project ticketing system. This was a system where government agencies could send censorship requests directly to YouTube about videos they saw as problematic. Now, whether YouTube acted on those requests, we don't know, but my experience suggests that they are. A number of YouTubers have made videos about how their channels have been shadow banned. What they typically do is they use their analytics to see if something strange is going on. Since you never really know what YouTube is doing on the back end, you have to do some detective work to figure it out. Here are some analytics from my channel to show you. This is what I would consider as a normal video that I did about Hillary Clinton that did fairly well. It did better than average and then slowly tapers off over time. Here is another video that looks like it is being suppressed. You can see it started out better than average and then suddenly it dies. And it would be fairly easy for YouTube to stop a video like this. Most people only watch videos that the algorithm shows on their homepages as recommended. So all YouTube has to do is stop the video from showing up on people's homepages, and the video dies. This was a video about President Trump. Now that's funny. Why would a video on Hillary Clinton be normal, but it looks like the video about President Trump is suppressed? Isn't that odd? But let's go on, because I've been seeing more evidence than just the analytics. I also post my videos on Rumble, and there's a feature on Rumble where you can just sync your videos automatically. So whenever you post a video on YouTube, it will populate the video to Rumble. Recently, a number of my videos never showed up on Rumble. This has never been a problem before, and it only started happening in the last 2 months, and only on certain videos. So I started looking into it more. Not only were these videos missing on Rumble, the same videos were missing from search results in DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo, of course, is a search engine that is an alternative to Google. I use DuckDuckGo a lot because they do not censor their search results like Google does. Let me be clear. I would go to DuckDuckGo and type in the title of my video and the channel name, and nothing would show up. It's like the video never existed. This is strange. Normally, when I search in DuckDuckGo, my video would be the #1 search result. It should be really easy to find, but now these particular videos are missing. What is different about those few videos? The fact that the very same videos are somehow being blocked from Rumble and DuckDuckGo is very suspicious. It looks like YouTube has found a way to block third-party websites from seeing specific videos. If this is true, YouTube is not only censoring videos on YouTube, it is censoring the information across the entire internet. If you are a YouTuber, I would try this to see if one of your videos is blocked on DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is not doing it because they don't censor. The only option that makes sense is that YouTube is blocking it. This suggests that YouTube identifies information they don't want to get out into the world, and then they can some way block other websites from seeing it so that it cannot be promoted on other sites. Now, normally, YouTube would want third-party websites to see and promote their videos, but in these cases, YouTube would be blocking it. This goes back to the debate around Section 230. Social media companies like YouTube receive massive liability protections because of this law. If it is true that YouTube is blocking third-party websites from seeing certain videos, how is that not acting as a publisher? why would they still deserve Section 230 protections? House Speaker Kevin McCarthy promised to scrap Section 230 and rewrite it. Why isn't Kevin McCarthy doing anything he promised? Does anyone know? I think that Congress needs to bring the CEO of YouTube in front of Congress and ask them whether they are suppressing videos, whether they are blocking third-party websites, and if they are working with the federal government. Any of these things should be reason enough to scrap Section 230. So I started keeping track of my videos. Here's a list of my last 18 videos. You can see in red which ones were missing from Rumble, which ones were missing from DuckDuckGo, and which videos showed problems in their analytics. This is a big issue. 9 of the last 18 videos were blocked from Rumble, when I've never had this problem before. That's 50% of my videos that are gone. The same videos were blocked from DuckDuckGo and also had analytics problems. On the other hand, there are some videos that do not appear to have problems at all. For instance, the video about Hillary Clinton did not have any issues. Also, YouTube did not have any problem with my recent video about eating bugs. Now, why would YouTube not care about eating bugs, but have problems with my other videos? That's strange. Here is the list of topics that I think were my most suppressed videos. 87,000 IRS agents, Ray Epps, the Donald Trump case, and the Ohio train derailment. Now I know there's going to be someone in the comments who will say, "You can't talk about those things, you're a conspiracy theorist." I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. I don't think any of these topics should be censored. 87,000 IRS agents? This was a video about tax policy and what we should be spending our federal budget on. Why is a conversation about tax policy being suppressed? For Ray Epps, I go over video evidence of what should be legitimate questions. Why is no one allowed to ask questions about Ray Epps? Isn't that strange? In the next video, I go over a legal analysis of the classified documents case against Donald Trump. Now, why would a legal analysis of a case be censored? Someone please explain this to me in the comments, because I am having a really hard time understanding why any of this would be censored. But what disturbs me the most is that my video on the Ohio train derailment looks like it is being suppressed. The video is called "Aaron Brockovich is in Trouble," and here are the analytics. You can see that it starts out performing poorly, then around 40 days in, it shoots up, and then quickly dies off again. Whenever you see strange movements like this, it's not naturally occurring activity. It suggests that someone on the back end of YouTube is messing around with the video. I'm sorry, but this chart looks like there is something suspicious going on. The video talks about how Aaron Brockovich went to East Palestine, Ohio to see if she could help with the train disaster there. She was labeled by the Department of Homeland Security as a terrorist. There is no reason why this video should be censored at all. And yet, Rumble cannot see the video. If you search for it on DuckDuckGo, it's like the video does not exist. But it gets even worse. As a recap, the train company, Norfolk Southern, claimed that the train cars that had derailed were about to explode, and they had no choice but to conduct a controlled burn. That burn sent toxic gases across the town, and the people have been suffering from the impact. New information on this story just came out a few weeks ago. The bombshell information was that the owner of the train cars emailed Norfolk Southern 3 times that they saw no evidence vinyl chloride inside the cars was polymerizing and at a risk of an uncontrolled explosion. So, there was no reason to do a controlled burn. In fact, the temperature inside the train cars was going down, which was evidence that it was not going to explode. This should have indicated to Norfolk Southern not to do the controlled burn, but instead, the train company just wanted to clear the tracks so that they could get back to business. This is the story of a greedy corporation that has destroyed the lives of an entire town, and YouTube is covering it up. What this really shows is that a powerful company that pays millions of dollars for lobbying the government can pollute a town, and the poor people who live there have no voice. They can't even get their story out there because YouTube is blocking it. Why are you doing this, YouTube? But it is even worse. I really doubt that YouTube is acting on their own. They are probably doing this at the request of the federal government. They were probably sent a request by the Department of Homeland Security through the Virality Project ticketing system to block these videos. We already know from what happened to Erin Brockovich that DHS was already trying to suppress protests. I think YouTube is just doing what they're told by DHS. The problem is that it is a violation of Americans' First Amendment rights. I hope that Erin Brockovich helps these poor citizens sue this train company, and I hope that she also sues YouTube for being part of the cover-up. This is all very timely because just this week, Congress released a bombshell report showing that social media companies took down and suppressed content for thousands of accounts about the war in Ukraine at the request of the Ukrainian government. Some of these requests came from Russian double agents who were working inside the security service of Ukraine. Russians and Ukrainians sent requests through the FBI to have content taken down they did not like. These included accounts belonging to American journalists. Here is a calendar showing how frequent the requests were. You can see that YouTube is all over the place. It's like there's a whole censorship party going on at YouTube. You get censored. You get censored. Everyone is getting censored. And I'm not making this up. These are the facts in the report from Congress. Let me just clarify again, in case you missed it. Undercover Russian agents made requests through Ukraine to the FBI to censor Americans. So the FBI was working for the Russians to attack Ukraine. This is insane. Now, the FBI didn't know they were working for the Russians, but that's the whole point, isn't it? That is exactly why the government should not be policing people's speech. In fact, in the report, it shows an example of the form that YouTube was using for censorship requests. YouTube has a form to censor videos. This is happening, and it is not right. In fact, the US government is being sued over it. Last week on July 4th, in a groundbreaking court case, a judge issued a preliminary injunction limiting the US government from communicating with social media companies about online content. This judge said that the government must stop censoring people. There is a 155-page ruling, and if you read it, it is shocking. It details numerous examples of the US government using social media companies to illegally suppress free speech. They would ban people. They would remove people's posts. They would suppress content. And now the US government is blocked from doing this. So I thought, okay, with this new court order, now my videos will go back to normal, right? Unfortunately, my videos are still blocked. I emailed back and forth with Rumble. They could not do anything. I notified YouTube and have not received any response. So I gotta say, with all the evidence I've laid out here, it looks like YouTube is defying a court order to continue to censor my videos on behalf of the US government. In the document, the judge quotes former President Harry Truman saying, "Once a government is committed to the principle of silencing the voice of opposition, it has only one place to go, and that is down the path of increasingly repressive measures, until it becomes a source of terror to all its citizens and creates a country where everyone lives in fear." Isn't that exactly what is happening here? Everyone is scared to speak their mind. People are getting shadow banned for telling the truth. It is no coincidence that our founding fathers put our right to free speech in the First Amendment. The very first one. It was that important. What are you doing, YouTube? Why are you covering up the destruction of this town in Ohio? Now, I have bad news. 2 days ago, on Friday, another judge issued a stay of the first judge's preliminary injunction. That means the government does not have to stop their censorship activities until the court case is completed. We had 10 days free of the government violating our freedom of speech. But the court case is not over. And YouTube, you don't have to go along with what the government is telling you to do. They have no right to contact you about who you should suppress. Again, let me put up the list of the topics being censored. Do you see the common thread between all of these topics? They are all about government corruption. All of them. These are things that we should be talking about and debating and discussing. Now, I realize that the federal government probably does not like me talking about these things, but that is because I'm exposing the truth. YouTube, if the government is contacting you, telling you to suppress my videos, you should not do it. You should not be covering up for government corruption. We should be working together to expose it, or at the very least, do not trample my freedom of speech. I am hoping that if anyone who works at YouTube sees this video, if you can please take a look at my account and please remove any shadow bans on my videos. I would appreciate it. For those of you watching, please take a moment and subscribe. I know I ask you this a lot, but if my videos get blocked by YouTube, you won't be able to find me unless you are subscribed. You can't even look me up right now on DuckDuckGo. So subscribe here on YouTube, on Twitter, on Truth Social, on Rumble, and wherever you use social media. I'm Zach from Wolves in Finance. Thank you for watching.